Excellent.
Sing with me at home. As we hear the wind rustle through the trees, we feel the presence of Shabbat entering our community. So let's lend our breath, our neshima, our own breathe and breath.
Shabbat Shalom all. It's wonderful to be here with you. How's the sound? It sounds to me like there's like an odd sound, like some feedback somewhere. I don't know.
Might be the babbling brook in the back of my apartment.
I love that. There's
I mute myself when I'm not on. It's the sound of nature. It's the sound of the Ruach HaKodesh.
Awesome. The babbling brook is the sound of Shabbat and the sound of the Spirit of God, Ruach HaKodesh. True, so true. Love that you're offering that, Cantor Adam, as we begin our service. Yes, it is a little different, or a lot different than we've experienced in the last 14 months. One, we thought, let's mix it up a little bit. Two, I have to admit that a week ago, and just in the last week, I was thinking, it might be easier for me in terms of my own just energy output if I could be at home. And so we decided that both of us would be at home. So this is unplugged, kind of about as unplugged as we get. I want to open Shabbat with just one primary thought. Yeah, I mean, I know, of course, that so many difficult things going on in the world this past week. You might know that there were swastikas painted on an elementary school in Port Washington. Of course, I'm guessing maybe all of us, certainly most of us, many of us know that it's a horrible Lag BaOmer tragedy in Israel, in Meron, at the grave of Shimon Bar Yochai, where tens of thousands of Jews gathered in Israel to celebrate on the 33rd day of the Omer the life and brilliance of Shimon Bar Yochai. And the tragedy is that bleachers collapsed and close to 50 people died. Several hundred have been injured. We know in India, COVID has been, it's like a wildfire. More than 300,000 people a day have been infected and so many people dying. But that's not what I want to open with. I want to open on a different note, a much more personal intimate note, I guess you could say. Shabbat, we learn in our tradition, on Shabbat, we get an extra soul, S-O-U-L. We get a second neshama. And I don't know, this kind of resonates for me in a new way, the Shabbat, because I want to just report and share with you that a bunch of days ago, maybe it was even Sunday, I'm not sure, I really began to feel like my neshama was returning to me. I think every one of us has a special spark. We all have our own special je ne sais quoi, gift, unique quality. And I began to feel in this past few days that, oh, wow, whatever that mayor spark is, it's coming back to me. And so the Gruters and Arlene and Susan Weiss Horowitz, Dorit, Karen, Elaine, Elaine Markowitz and Springer, the Abrams, the Hermans. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but each of us has a special spark. And how blessed the world is whenever the world gets to feel your spark. And I just feel so grateful because I have to say for the first 3-ish weeks, I don't know, I didn't feel any connection to that special spark of mine. But I have begun to feel it again, and it's all of the meals and cards and emails and books and Netflix recommendations and the short little visits it just had such an impact on me. I want to tell you one of the highlights of this last 4 weeks is that my oldest friend in life, I don't mean he's the oldest person, but we've been friends since we were 6 years old, and his name is Rick. He said to me 2.5 weeks ago, he said, Mark, whatever, Mayor, occasionally calls me Mayor. It's been 40 plus years since we've spent time together. I'm coming into Great Neck. I'm going to rent a room at the Andrew Hotel. I'm going to just sit and hang with you, do little errands for you. And we're going to get a bunch of hours together from Wednesday through to Saturday. And he did exactly what he said he's going to do. And it was just a beautiful reconnecting. We've seen each other occasionally over the decades, but so many reasons to feel so grateful. And Shabbat is really about feeling grateful and connecting, recognizing that the place of gratitude is our neshama, that soul. It gives birth to, it creates the possibility of us feeling appreciation, thanks, gratitude. So that is as well why we light Shabbat candles. And Lillian, you're going to light our Shabbat candles for us with Ron, with your heart partner, your life partner, Ron, with you. I just want to say something, Lillian, if I may. I think it's okay. This is your 70th birthday. I think it's okay to say the number. And in Hebrew, the letter that is 70 is ayin. Ayin. I don't know how excellent your Hebrew is or not, but the letter ayin, whatever the letter ayin, actually it's the same word. I mean, our eyes are called ayin. So the letter is the word which is one's eyes. And so I don't know, maybe this year of ayin for you is a year of seeing new blessings, asking new questions, sharing new insights that are yours that we didn't even know because of your unique and precious ability to see the world through that perspective that's only yours. So we're grateful to you for all of the vision that you shared with the world here in Great Neck, your family, Beth-El. And know as you light the Shabbat candles, that's really what all this symbolizes. Your own vision, our vision together. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
3 days ago. 2 days ago.
Yep.
Go for it. We're on page.
Can we be heard?
What?
Can we be heard? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Can you help me?
I shall.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav וציוונו להדליק נר של שבת.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who allows us with mitzvot, commending us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen, amen. Beautifully done. I hear like these beautiful voices in both of you. So, which I know you've been part of the choir for many years back. And happy birthday, Shabbat Shalom, and many, many thanks to a very healthy year. Cantor Adam.
We're on page 12. Lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lecho neranena, l'Adonai. Lecho neranena, lecho neranena, lecho neranena. Naria letzur yishenu nekad mafana betoda. Naria letzur yishenu bizmirot naria lo lechu neranena lechu neranena lechu neranena. We're on the bottom of page 13. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umlo. Ya'alo sarai v'chol asher bo, az yaranenu kol hatzeyar. Lifnei Adonai kiva lishpat haaretz, yishpat tevel betzedek, v'yamim b'meunato. We're at the bottom of page 14. Try that at home. Keep going. Ya la la, ya la la, ya la la, la 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 la. At the bottom of the page, the third paragraph, it starts with Or Zaruah. Or Zaruah וישרי לב שמחה. ותרו על הצדיק וישרי לב שמחה. ידדה 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 Continue our journey through the Psalms on page 16. Zamru Adonai Bechino Bechino Bechol Zimra Bechatzro Bechol Shofar Hariu Lifnei HaMelech Adonai Yiram Hayamim Lo Tevel Veyoshveva Neharot Yimcha Uchav Yachad Harim Yeranenu Lifnei Adonai Kiva Lishpot haaretz Yishpot Tevel Betzedek Ve'amim B'meisharim Yiram Hayamum Lo Tevel Ve'yoshveva Neharot Yimcha Uchav Yachad Harim Yeranenu. Sorry about that. I started to get rained on a little bit and I had to move under some shelter. But let the sea roar and all within it, let the heavens be glad, that the mountains dance and the clouds bring forth rain in celebration of God's name. Let's continue on page 18 with a little bit of Psalm 29. We turn to pages 20 and 21 as we welcome Shabbat with the words of Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. Shamo v'zachor b'diborecha, Yishemiyanu el hamtucha. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, l'shemo tiferet v'litira. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. Likrat Shabbat, Lechu v'necha, Ki hi mekor haberacha. Merash mikadem nesucha, Sof ma'aseh b'machshavat techila. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. We're at verse 5, top of page 21. Sorry, the wind blew my pages. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orech kumi ori. Ori, ori, shidaberi, kevod Adonai, alayit nigla. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. Boi v'shalom, ateret ba'ala, gam b'simcha u'v'tzolha. Toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala. Lecha Dodi, Likra Kala, B'nei Shabbat, Lekabela. Lecha Dodi, Continue with the Psalm for Shabbat on page 22 at the top of the page. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. כי שמחתני אדוני בפעלך, במעשה ידיך ארנן, מה גדלו מעשיך אדוני, מאוד עמקו מחשבותיך. מזמור שיר ליום השבת, טוב להודות לאדוני, ולזמר לשמך עליון, ולזמר לשמך עליון. At the indented part of the page at the bottom, Tzadik atamar ifra keretz balvanon Yisker shetolim beveit Adonai Atzrot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim ihu Yashar Adonai Zuri Velo Avlatot Bo. We welcome the Sabbath angels who accompany us on our journey on page 24 as we sing together. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leShalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon. Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Zeitchem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I invite you to rise to your feet or in your hearts, whichever is the most comfortable, as we respond to the call to prayer. Lai, 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 Baruch Rabbi Feldman, why don't you help us welcome the transition from day into night as we pray Ma'ariv Aravim on page 30.
Happy to do that. We're on page 30. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night, and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzivaot is your name, ever-living God. May you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening.
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uven laila, Adonai Tzevaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu le'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv Aravim. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Torah u'mitzvot Hukim u'mishpatim Otanu limadetcha Al kein Adonai Eloheinu B'shofteinu v'kumeinu Nasiach b'chukecha V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha U'b'mitzvotecha Le'olam va'ed Ki heim chayenu Be'orech yameinu Be'orech yameinu Uvahem negeh Yomam v'layla Yomam v'layla V'yahabatecha Al tasir mimenu le'olamim Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Hashem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Va'ed. Standing, you may be seated. Rabbi, please lead us in the Ve'ahavta, if you would be so kind.
Page 36, friends. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha yom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam B'shivdecha b'veitecha uvlechtecha v'derech u'shachbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam liot ayadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'chtavtam amazuzot beitecha u'visharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai Item kadoshim leloechem, Ahani Adonai Eloechem, Asher otzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, Li'od lachem lelohim, Ani Adonai Elohechem. Adonai Elohechem, amen.
Continue on page 40 with the words of Mi Chamocha. No Radhilo, oh Sefele, no Radhilo, oh Sefele, Yalai, lai, lai, la, lai, Yalai, lai, 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 Yalai, lai, lai, la, lai, Yalai, lai, 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 Yalai, lai, la, lai, lai, Yalai, lai, 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 Yalai, lai, la, lai, lai, Yalai, lai, lai, lai. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה זה אלי אמרו ויאמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר יוודע אדוני את יעקב ולא מי חזק ממנו Baruch atah Adonai, Ohei Kahal Yisrael. We're on page 42 as we prepare for our slumber. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom Ve'amidenu Shomreinu Lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom ve'amidenu shomreinu lechayim ufros aleinu sukkah shlomecha Ufros aleinu, Sukkah shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Haporei Sukkot Shalom. Ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim. We're on page 44. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית העולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. We're on page 46. Adonai שפתי תפתח ופי יגיד תהילתך. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Page 48. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzhak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibur v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekoneh Hakol, Vezocher Chazdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevii Geula לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. Page 50. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל, אתה רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. Page 52. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. We'll take a few moments for private meditations of the heart, using the words of our heart or the words found on the pages of the Siddur that follow. If you're still offering your private meditations, feel free to do so at your own pace. If you've completed, join me at the bottom of page 62 for a prayer for wholeness and peace. Wholeness and peace, which sometimes feel so missing and are so needed after a week like this one. Ose shalom bimromav, Ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru, amen. May the one who causes peace to reign in the high heavens cause peace to reign among us, all the world, and all of Israel, and let us say,
Amen.
With those words of shleimut, of wholeness on our lips, let us turn to page 253 as we pray for the healing of those who are not whole among us, those who are still recovering in body and spirit, who need prayers for refuat hanefesh or refuat haguf, of body and spirit. Let's turn to the middle of page 253 as we sing together. And hold their names in our hearts or put their names in the chat bar. Misheberach avoteinu Mekol habracha leimotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Ishebera imotenu Bekol habracha ve'avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Now we're going to hear a few words from Rabbi Tara.
Shabbat Shalom. Today is Lag BaOmer, the 33rd day of the Omer. So the Hebrew letters Lamed and Gimel combine to make not only the sound Lag, but the number 33. So as we have explored many times, the Omer, that 49-day period between Passover and Shavuot, is a serious and reflective time. Francine Klagsburn, in a wonderful article on the Omer, notes that historically speaking, many cultures share this similar period of restraint in the early spring. Because since ancient times, it's during these days of early sprouting that humans have been concerned for centuries about whether the summer crops are actually going to grow. This is a time of watchful waiting, but not only in the agricultural sense, in spiritual matters as well. We gained our freedom at Passover, but we have not yet arrived at Shavuot, not yet stood at the foot of Mount Sinai, not yet received Torah, and with it, that sense of covenant and purpose. Who will we be as a people in relationship, living with God? As we journey through Omer's counting, that question remains open. So the Omer is serious, whether from the perspective of a farmer or a spiritual seeker, and certainly if one considers current events. Look at Jerusalem, from where I am presently speaking to you, but I'll be back next week to celebrate the adult Benot Mitzvah. I can't wait. But in recent days in this city, things have been even more tense than usual. Clashes between Palestinians and Israeli police and IDF over restrictions placed on the Damascus Gate entrance to the old city during Ramadan. A TikTok video showing 2 Palestinian youths slapping an ultra-Orthodox Jewish man. Jewish extremists marching to the walls of the old city, chanting "Death to the Arabs." And then Gaza militants firing an intense barrage of rockets into southern Israel. Once again, the ancient themes of high alert, of caution and reflection loom to the fore. Who are we? Where are we going? But not so on Lag BaOmer, which marks a 24-hour release from all of this solemnity. Even in these trying times of pandemic and outbreaks of violence in Jerusalem, starting yesterday morning and long into the night, you could feel the joy everywhere. Kids cutting school. My own did that. Going on fun trips. It's a day of weddings, first haircuts for 3-year-old boys, or anyone who, in deference to the Omer, has been holding off on haircuts or a good shave for these first 4+ weeks of the Omer. Talmud tells us that on the 33rd day of the Omer, a plague which had killed thousands of Rabbi Akiva's students miraculously stopped. And so on Lag BaOmer, there's outdoor play, sometimes with bow and arrows, to remind us of those students of Rabbi Akiva who in the year 132 CE fought the Romans in the ultimately unsuccessful Bar Kokhba revolt. And one more Lag BaOmer teaching. The 2nd century Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, among the most famous of Rabbi Akiva's students, is said to have died on Lag BaOmer. And so on this holiday, thousands gather up north, right next to the city of Tzfat, at Mount Meron, where Shimon Bar Yochai is buried. Tragically, as some of you may be aware, in the early hours of this very morning, just after midnight last night, 44 people were crushed to death and more than 150 people hurt, including many in critical condition, in a stampede at Mount Meron. There was a mass gathering there, as every year, to celebrate Lag BaOmer. So what's the deal with Shimon Bar Yochai? Why is he such a celebrated figure in the Omer or at any time? You may have heard the story of Shimon Bar Yochai, who with his son Rabbi Eliezer hid from the Romans in a cave, not for a day or a week or a month or a year, but for 12 years. Miraculously, they were sustained by the fruit from a carob tree growing inside that cave and the sweet water from a spring. Shimon Bar Yochai's challenge and question was this one. Once the danger of the Romans had passed, how could he and his son emerge from the cave where he was in this realm of utter holiness, where he had existed only with God and Torah? Could he come out of that cave and live with people, interact with them, see them in all their humanity? The first time Shimon Bar Yochai comes out of that cave, he literally destroys the world, setting fields on fire with his gaze, which is so full of judgment and wrath. But eventually, Shimon Bar Yochai learns to come out of that isolation into which he had achieved so much heights of holiness, but to come out of that and to love humanity nonetheless. It's hard to shake the news of the tragedy that happened at Shimon Bar Yochai's grave just a few hours ago. But let's focus on the message and teaching of his life. For we too are on our own journeys out of pandemic isolation, out of the quarantine caves in which we have sequestered ourselves for so many months. We are emerging slowly, cautiously, and our questions are much like Bar Yochai's ancient ones. How can we begin to interact with each other, to meet each other's gaze even over the top of a mask in real time, such that we can behold each other with love, working to overcome our anxieties and judgments, our as yet still unanswered questions as we reintegrate into the world? This week in my study about the Omer, I found a beautiful idea repeated again and again by so many teachers. It's not my own. I take no credit for it, but it resonates deeply. During the plague, which I referenced, that of Rabbi Akiva's students, there was so much death. 12,000 pairs of chevrutot, study partners, lost their lives. That's 24,000 scholars, thinkers, teachers of future generations. Can you imagine the scale of that loss? Well, I guess actually we can. As we as a global community have experienced, and some are presently experiencing vast and unthinkable losses, even greater perhaps than those of our second century sages. But think of it, Rabbi Akiva, arguably one of the greatest sages in all Jewish history. He was by that point an old man, and 24,000 of his students, the ones to which he had devoted his life, gone. Some say that this plague arose because those students, despite their Torah knowledge, did not treat each other with love and respect. All the more reason for Akiva to succumb to despair, to give up. But he didn't. Rabbi Akiva started again. First with only 5 surviving students, and then those 5 grew and grew and grew to tens and hundreds, reigniting a new flame, a new chapter of Torah learning and living. One that was now changed and perhaps had become imbued with deeper humility, respect, and compassion. Teaches Rabbi Soloveitchik, we are all made in the divine image, but not only with that divine capacity to create, but perhaps even more important, to recreate, just as God did so many times in the Torah, and as God does each and every day with the rising sun. So now, as we emerge into that summer warmth, having survived over a year of pandemic life, now is a time of recreation, like that of Shimon Bar Yochai and of the students of Akiva, like the rebirth of all who have survived a plague, whether ancient or modern. The Omer is not quite done. We still have a few more weeks of inwardness, of caution and reflection, even mourning. But as we slowly emerge from quarantine, holding our fears and questions, may we also hold new perspective, newfound humility. May we think back to Bar Kochba and find courage, for now is a time of possibility and vision. May we hold in our hearts those rising flames of Lag BaOmer, of all those bonfires on a nighttime hill. And may they signify for us not only the light of Torah, which rabbis Akiva and Shimon Bar Yochai brought into the world, but even more our own inner capacity to emerge from isolation, to create and to recreate our communities and ourselves again and again, anew. Happy Lag BaOmer.
We turn to page 282 as we offer Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לעתיד גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל עמונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Amen, amen. As always, remember loved ones before we conclude. And of course, the Shabbat is no different. We first want to just say that we remember these, I think it's now closer to 50 people who died in Meron in Israel, just as Tara described, and I mentioned at the outset. And so we remember them and know that God's image has been diminished because of their loss. We remember in the period of the last Shloshim, the last 30 days from our Beth-El community, Barbara Gordon, Joel Heller, and Ethan Sisser. And we remember as well all those whose Yortzeit, the anniversary of their passing, falls this week or this Shabbat. We remember together Barbara Bartner, Anne Freeman Bartner, Odelia Burkhart, and Phoebe Gozan, Seymour David Gunod and Martin Cohn, Michael Levine and Natalie Polevsky, Marvin Spear, and Herb Weiner, and Martin Weiss as well. Many of us are remembering other loved ones, and hopefully, I didn't say it, but I hope you have begun or already have put their names into our chat. Remember your own loved ones. We see, yes, Jordana, your grandma, Shivya Bat Shmuel, Hinda, and also your beloved father, Howard, Jeffrey Jastro, Elaine, Ingrid Hecker, a dear friend, Debbie Gruber, you're remembering Michael, father, and Ivan, your mother, Anne, as well. Okay, and continue to add names if you have others. If it's your custom to rise for the mourner's Kaddish, please feel free to do so. Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, is on 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'yalma divrachu te v'yamlich malchute, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, b'galav izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lolmei al-maya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yit'alal shemei d'kudesha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'miran bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel. And let us say together one last time, Amen.
Amen.
If you are standing, feel free to be seated. And a few announcements. Let's see. First of all, Tomorrow morning, of course, Torah study at 9 and a Leilid Minyan at 10 o'clock, 10:30, 10:30. That's tomorrow morning. Second of all, tomorrow evening, tomorrow night at 8:45, Havdalah, which is going to be a replay from last week's really beautiful and special songs of hope, and particularly the Havdalah that Cantor Adam led with his colleagues. I want to actually share the screen for a fun moment to connect us to, here we go. Ooh, hold one second. So a few of the announcements right here. On Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, May 5th, wonderful opportunity with mentalist Oz Perlman, collaboration with the UJA, and thank you so much to Barbara and David Podwell and TBE members Wendy and Jordan Ziegler, co-chairs of these UJA events. Oz Perlman is really quite a gifted, amazing guy, mentalist. That is on Wednesday. Next, a week from this Shabbat morning, from tomorrow morning, we get to celebrate our wonderful adult women who become bat mitzvah, benot mitzvah. That's next Saturday morning. Amy Boschneck, Debbie Gruber, Jody Litt, Jen Still-Schiff, and Susan Weiss Horowitz. It's going to be wonderful. Next Shabbat morning, they'll have friends and family there, and also we'll be celebrating via Zoom as well. Just quickly as well, to remind you or let you know, Shavuot services. Erev Shavuot is Sunday. It's right here, May 16th, 8 p.m. We'll be joining us will be our friends from Temple Isaiah. We've shared other special moments, primarily Simchat Torah with them, but they'll be joining us as well. That is Sunday evening, May 16th. Monday morning, the following morning, we'll have our Shavuot and Yisker service that starts at 10 o'clock a.m. And in between the Leil Tikkun Shavuot, which is Sunday night, and the Monday morning, in between that, on Sunday, May 16th, at 11:45 a.m., we have Torah art. Eileen Walk is leading us on commemorating the receiving of Torah through a very wonderful and special art experience, and can never miss out the Shavuot connection to cheesecake, or in this case, Mr. Softy. So anyway, I think I did this out of order a bit. On Sunday morning is Torah art and Mr. Softy. Sunday evening is the Leil Tikkun, Erev Shavuot. And then Monday morning is May 17. If I confused you, I apologize. You have a reason to be confused. I hope you're now clear. Sunday morning is art, and the connection between Shavuot and cheesecake or Mr. Softy. Sunday evening is the Leil Tikkun, the learning, and then Shavuot is after that. The Yisker service the next morning. All right, I'm going to go out of the stop share. We have, I think, one other important and wonderful announcement is this Sunday morning, May 2nd, and an opportunity to learn with Dr. Emily Gottreich. I think that's the way Gottreich, I'm not certain. But she's an expert in the Judaism of Maghreb, North African Judaism, and that is really so much connected to our extraordinary Beth-El Torah that we believe, is somewhere 400, 500, maybe 600 years old, that is from North African origin, and that's going to be this Sunday at 11 a.m. So, want to thank you, Cantor Adam, for this beautiful service. Beautifully done. You don't even need a rabbi, although.
Of course we do. Of course we do. And it's great
right.
to have you up and about and see you joining us once more.
Thank you so much, Cantor. Thank you a ton. I really appreciate it. Thanks to Greg. Tonight it was Stu for setting us up in our Zoom and virtual experience. Two other thanks. One, I want to thank, harkening back to this amazing Torah that we have, and more programming you're going to hear about it connected to that Torah. We want to thank again our very own Steve Fenn, who has digitized this whole Torah. He's got an incredibly sophisticated professional digital image of every panel of the Torah, and we're extraordinarily grateful to you, Stephen, for that. In addition, last but not least, thanks to the Margoloff family for the challah. And so that leads us into the Gruters. I think, if I left anything out, anybody? Did I leave
Just
anything?
the announcement, there was a question about where to find information about the lecture. I believe that Sunday's lecture, there was an announcement that went out this week. So check your email.
Yeah.
Zoom link is included in that. And otherwise, email one of us after Shabbat, and we will get you the information.
Great. Thank you. Okay, so I think we're ready, aren't we, for Kiddush and Motzi, Cantor? Yes, we are.
We are.
Okay, so let's turn. Oh, there you are, the Gruters. Yeah. All right. Awesome. All right. There's wonderful. Excellent. Okay. Well, good. We're missing the pop of the family, but there you are. All right.
Somebody had to unmute people.
What?
Somebody had to unmute the computer.
Got it. Yes. Okay, great. It's great to see all of you. And Kiddush. Cantor, you want to start us, and then they'll.
Sure. ויכו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם, ויכול אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה, וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה, ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי, ויקדש אותו, כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו, אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Go for it, Jacob, or all of you.
Amen.
Amen.
ברוך אתה אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו ויאהב רצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום דחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים, כי בנו בחרת וזרע קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך ביאהב רצון הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen. Beautiful. All right. You're going to lead it. Jacob, you want to lead us in Motzi?
Amen.
Amen. Isn't it amazing how our kids grow up? Isn't it incredible? They just grow up. It's incredible.
I especially like the Amen TikTok dance that just happened.
The Amen TikTok, exactly. The Motzi TikTok dance, I think, Cantor. Not just Amen, the Motzi. All right. Well,
do that again.
I guess we can say Shabbat Shalom. Linda Diamond, thank you a ton for hosting the virtual Oneg. And it's wonderful to see you all. And we look forward to seeing you again next week, if not sooner. All right. Shabbat Shalom all.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. How's everybody this evening?
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom. Hanging in there. I like your hair, Linda.
Oh, there we go. Now I'm more